So welcome here today to the Church of the Spirit. And so can you believe it? It's already 2026. Really? And this is the time to take a moment to look back on our lives with gratitude. And then look forward with expectation. And look upward with trust that Spirit is there to help us. With a new year, we all seem to long for clarity, direction, and renewal. Maybe for many of us, this new year feels like a fresh start. We feel this excitement with hope for another chance. Or sometimes we feel fatigue from the previous year or years. We may feel regret about unfinished business or lack of our spiritual growth. The new year, though, does more than inspire resolutions and quiet fears about our future. The new year reminds us that real change begins in our hearts. A new year is an opportunity to release what holds us back and pursue our hopes and dreams with renewed purpose. Sometimes we hold on to the past so tightly. And this new year, we can really need to let go of things in the past. Just let them go. This is not about ignoring our past. It's about refusing to let our past define our future. One way to think about it is spiritual growth and begin a spiritual focus. Renewal is not about changing habits alone. It begins by changing the way we look at our whole life. Many of us carry something from the previous year that needs to be surrendered. For some, it's disappointment or regret. For others, it's guilt or discouragement or spiritual complacency. We cannot hold the weight of yesterday while wanting a new beginning today. Releasing the past is an act of obedience, not denial. It is choosing to trust that by following the universal laws, we are in control of our behavior. While many people make New Year's resolutions focused on weight loss or productivity, maybe this year, it's not about self-improvement, but about spiritual transformation. Some people say that those who do not feel spiritual really do not feel connected to others. Separation is always sad, but always necessary if we are to seize control of our own destiny and become our own person, our authentic self. So in the movie Black Panther, the two central characters lose their father. They become orphans. Many movie heroes are orphans. Maybe not literally, but they're not dependent on their parents. Why is that? This is because it's a necessary stage of development of all human beings. At some point in our lives, we have to separate from our parental figures. And what does that mean? This is what Carl Jung called individuation. Individuation is the process of becoming our own person. We have beliefs that have given us all these ideas, mainly from our parents, but we have our own destiny to fulfill, not theirs. In the movie Wonder Woman, the really important woman in Wonder Woman's life is her mentor, her aunt, who took a bullet to save Wonder Woman's life. Wonder Woman is separated from her aunt, who is the most powerful person in her life. The major difference between heroes and villains is that heroes are committed to ethical acts, and villains are not. In the movie Casablanca, the character Rick Blaine, who's played by Humphrey Bogart, who 3 times says, "I stick out my neck for no one." Not a good impression, but okay. And then there's the scene when the Nazis are in Rick's cafe and they start singing the Nazi anthem. Then Victor Laszlo, the hero in the movie, comes to the orchestra and says, "Play La Marseillaise," the French national anthem. The band leader looks over at Rick for permission, because that's his boss. Rick gives a nod, and the band starts playing the French national anthem. Then many of the minor characters in the movie start singing the French national anthem too. Rick's little nod is a total contradiction of what he has been saying up until that point, when he said, "Let's try it again. I stick my neck out for no one." He changes and does stick his neck out. That is an ethical decision. What is an ethical decision concerned with? I can tell you what it's not. It's not concerned with what's in it for me. It is concerned with what is the right thing to do in this situation. Which means we have to make a decision. The word decision comes from the same root as the word scissors. When we make a decision, we're cutting ourselves off of going in our usual direction or behavior. In the movie Empire Strikes Back, the fight scene where Darth Vader, Luke's father, oh, spoiler alert, does anybody not know that? So Darth Vader just cuts off his son Luke's arm. And Darth Vader says, "Luke, join me. With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy." Well, that's a mighty tempting offer for any young man. But Luke makes a decision and says, I'll never join you. Decisions are hard to make because they are costly. This is why we have trouble making decisions, or at least some of us do. Because we know that once we make a decision, we are cutting ourselves off from a possible escape route. And now we are deciding values, not just what road to take, but what values to embrace. In the very old cowboy movie, High Noon, which I don't know how many remember that one, the town marshal, Will Kane, is an old-fashioned ethical hero. It is both his wedding day and the last day as the town marshal. His wife, Amy, is a Quaker, and her marriage to Will Kane means that he has to give up being a marshal and that killing business, because that's what they did back then. Amy is a pacifist, but she gets in the middle of the action. Amy goes into a small building where one of Kane's adversaries is firing his gun at Kane because he knows Kane can't shoot him back. The adversary stops to reload his gun. And then there's a sound of a single gunshot. The adversary falls back. The audience then sees Amy at the window with a gun in her hand. Amy has made an ethical decision that violates the basic principle of her religion in order to save her husband. This is totally unexpected, since we would not expect a person with strong religious beliefs to shoot someone. It was an ethical decision. Heroes in films are altruists. They are concerned for the well-being of others, independent of personal benefit or reciprocity. People do what they do for what we might call a sacred cause. It could be for God, for the family, or for someone we love. The villain does what he or she does for his or her own increase in power. In most gangster films, altruism is totally absent. The gangster is out for himself or herself. So in the movie, Once Upon a Time in America, these poor kids form a social unit. It's a nice way of saying gang. They gather for a ritual that we often see in heroic tales, the pledge. I pledge to do this and this, okay. And all in the gang must agree to these rules. But then in the next scene, the kids in the new gang go from profound joy to total despair. Someone from a rival gang chases the gang of young boys and intentionally shoots the youngest kid. Then fate, once again, has intervened with one of the boys in the new gang. He altruistically risks his own life to get justice for the young boy's death. He stabs the killer of the young boy and then kills a cop that tries to stop it. In the old days, the movie's heroes would say, a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. But often what a man or a woman has to do is an act of altruism, which leads, or sometimes leads, to their doom. Sometimes people can't fulfill their destiny. If we were to look at our life as a movie, would we be the hero? Would we be the villain? Or would we be a combination of both? As we grow older, it's natural for our goals to change. What once felt urgent may soften, and what once deemed distant may come closer into a clearer focus. Our desires mature, and our priorities often begin to align more closely with things that truly matter, things that last beyond the moment. As we step into this new year, it's meaningful to pause and ask ourselves a gentle question. What spiritual habits do we want to strengthen? And which ones do we want to begin nurturing more intentionally? This new year invites us to look back with gratitude for all that we have learned, all we have endured, and all we have been given. It also gives us permission to release what no longer serves us, like habits, worries, or burdens that weighs us down. With that space created, we can move forward with fresh hope and renewed optimism. A new year does not automatically promise a new life, but each new day offers us a promise of growth, purpose, and possibility. So much of the anxiety we feel about the future comes from trying to figure everything out at once, or from feeling like we have to control every possible outcome. When we rely upon ourselves, confusion can creep in because our human understanding has limits. Spiritual wisdom, however, invites us to trust something greater than our own reasoning. The new year gently reminds us that our plans, dreams, and hopes are strongest when they rest on a foundation deeper than self-reliance alone. Often, our spirituality grows most when our need to have all the answers begins to fade. New Year celebrations are a time-honored tradition shared across cultures and generations. They help us mark the passage of time, embracing meaningful rituals, set intentions, and reconnect with one another. Whether through quiet reflection or joyful gatherings, these moments reveal something important about our human need for hope, renewal, and connection. So as we say goodbye to that old year last year and welcome the new one, let us take time to reflect on what it means to live with spiritual intention and how that attention can guide us toward lives that are happier, healthier, and more fulfilling. So I wish this for everyone here in church and those online. May this new year be filled with peace, purpose, and gentle growth. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.